The Seattle Seahawks drafted Jalen Milroe out of Alabama in the third round of the 2025 NFL Draft. And in today's Madden 25 rebuild, I am developing Milroe, making him the starter, and finally getting Seattle back to glory. But I hope you all are doing well and enjoyed the NFL Draft and your team selected some players that you at least wanted or were interested in. But here is a look at Seattle's roster. I have some updated rosters. I guess they're a little bit updated. They don't have all of Seattle's new additions. I think only the first 2 rounds. So we do have Elijah Arroyo here. We do, in fact, have Jalen Milroe. Had to kind of custom make him, though. We got the first round pick in Gray Zabel. I love his game. I think he's going to be a great offensive lineman. And then on the defensive side of the ball, we do have Nick Emmanwori here, their second round pick who Seattle did trade up for, but not the rest of their selection. So hopefully in the future, we will have the complete rosters for all these teams. Madden just makes it so hard and complicated to get everything down exactly to how things are currently in the NFL. But I think at least having the main players and of course our custom-made Jalen Milroe for this video should be good enough. But since this video is about him, we are going to make him the starting quarterback over Sam Darnold. I know the Seahawks paid him a decent contract this offseason. It wasn't a huge deal. I think they can theoretically get off of his contract after 1 season. So that might end up being what we do anyway in this rebuild. Try and trade Darnold or something after this season if Milroe does develop really well for us this season. But the offense, I really like how it looks. We got Kenneth Walker, Charbonnet, 2 good receivers in Cooper Kupp and JSN. The offensive line could use some more work. I like Charles Cross and Abraham Lucas, but the interior, we definitely need a starting center at the very least. And defensively, we have some pieces as well. A nice cornerback duo with Witherspoon and Woolen. We've got a good trio, I would say, of safeties with Love, Bryant, and Emmanwori. I might start him over Bryant. Maybe use Bryant as kind of like a hybrid linebacking type of role this year. The linebacking core, we could use another 1 or 2. And eventually, with DeMarcus Lawrence getting up there in age and Leonard Williams, we are going to need a stud pass rusher eventually. But honestly, a lot of good pieces on the Seattle roster. For playbooks and defensively, I'm going to use the base for Mike McDonald. I really like his scheme in real life. But for the offensive playbook, we are going to be using John Harbaugh's offense and the West Coast power run to fit Jalen Milroe. Kind of really like that Lamar Jackson style offense. And through the midseason point, I think we're right on track at 4-3. Our offense is definitely not great, averaging 18.8 points per game, rushing for a ton of yards, but just can't really find the groove in the passing game, which is kind of expected with Jalen Milroe, who does need some development in that area. But our defense is really, really good, and I think we have a chance now to maybe make the postseason as we do lead the NFC West. But for this first year, we don't really have anybody to sign. We are going to have to bring back Charles Cross on his 5th-year option. But what a season for the Seattle Seahawks, going 10-7 with a rookie quarterback who does need a lot of development, finishing 10-7, 2 games ahead of the 49ers, who are 2nd place in the division. We're actually the number 3 seed, so maybe we also can win our first playoff game potentially of this rebuild. If we take a look at the stats for the season, I think Jalen Milroe actually had a pretty good year. 3,800 yards, 24 touchdowns to 13 interceptions. That's a great rookie season for him, at least passing the football. And when you combine the fact that he also added in 628 yards and 9 touchdowns on the ground, that is a great rookie season. Kenneth Walker also had a good season, over 1,000 yards. We had one of the best rushing attacks in the league. Cooper Kupp still chugging along in his age, I think 30 or 31 season, over 1,000 yards. JSN, not a huge production for us in the passing game, but Noah Fant had a good year in that Ravens playbook. And defensively, DeMarcus Lawrence in year number 11 had 8 sacks. Leonard Williams also had 7, so a lot of nice production from some of our older veterans. Tariq Woolen did have 3 picks. Ernest Jones had 2, and our rookie safety, Nick Emmanwori, also had 2 picks. You love to see it. Now here's a look at the playoff bracket. My webcam does block the top right game, but it is the Bears who are the number 2 seed against the Detroit Lions. But here we are at Lumen Field. I want to get our first look at Jalen Milroe as he runs out of the tunnel. We're going to see if we can win ourselves our first playoff game. The Green Bay Packers do strike first. It is 3-0, but I want to check out the speed on Milroe. That is his biggest, I would say, attribute, his just athleticism. He's ridiculous. Under a 4.4 40-yard dash for a quarterback is a kind of just run into nothing there. And I fumble the football. What am I doing? Really not a good look for our first play here, but our defense is holding strong, at least early in this game. It's 10-0 in Green Bay. Makes it 17-0. Our one red zone opportunity, I fumbled. So I need to make up for it here and hopefully find somebody on this 3rd and 2 as we need some points to at least make this game somewhat competitive. We're going to hit Marquez Valdez-Scantling here on this little corner route. He holds on. These are the type of plays I love in this playbook. A quarterback power with Milroe here. And right off the right edge, nobody blocked Rashawn Gary. But now we got a 3rd and goal at the 5-yard line. Can we find JSN on the slant? He's got some separation, and Milroe completely whiffed on the throw. It's probably smart to just kick the field goal and make it a 2-possession game, but we're going to go forward here, try and get ourselves a touchdown. Cooper Kupp underneath, and he's going to fight into the end zone. Touchdown, Seattle. And now our defense needs to make a big stop, and it looks like they did, but Milroe and the offense can't capitalize, and we're going in this fourth quarter still down by 10 points. We're going to make it a 7-point game, and Milroe is on the move. We're under 3.5 minutes to go. We have 3rd and inches here. We need to find the end zone to tie this game up and maybe force overtime. Milroe underneath, caught by JSN for a first down. Now at the 24-yard line. 2 minutes and 50 seconds to go. Milroe, plenty of time. Firing again to Noah Fant for a huge first down. Milroe is carving them up on this drive. We're again inside the 10 after back-to-back completions from our rookie quarterback. Can we find the end zone? Milroe, again, under some pressure, is going to run for it. And Jalen Milroe, I thought he had a lane to the right, but he ran right into the defender. Now, 2nd and goal at the 3-yard line. We're going to have JSN come in motion. It's going to be a fake handoff to him, and Milroe, he's going to be down to the 1. I think we just run a similar play again. We need a half a foot. Milroe in shotgun, going to fire it, and it's going to be almost picked off. Oh my goodness, Quay Walker. I don't know what we're doing. This is like when the Seahawks made the Super Bowl and Russell Wilson threw that pick at the 1-yard line. Just run Kenneth Walker and Milroe, and we do at the 1-yard line, and we go nowhere. In absolutely embarrassing fashion, we don't even score. Inside the 3-yard line there, Mike McDonald should be embarrassed. We're going to go home in this first round. Jordan Love and the Packers. Well, the season recap is over, and the Kansas City Chiefs once again won the Super Bowl against the Dallas Cowboys, 37-25. I guess Von Miller signed with the Miami Dolphins and won Defensive Player of the Year. That is so random. But we also did not take home any of the Rookie of the Year awards. It's still just so messed up having to combine the new rookie class with last year, so it's messed up. Again, nobody to really sign going to accept the 5th-year option, though, on Charles Cross and get him back on a fairly good deal. And there's really no free agents this year. I kind of expected it with how kind of these rosters are formulated. So I honestly don't think I'm going to sign anybody. I don't think we really need any of these top players. I don't really think we need much depth either currently. So I think we're fine heading to the draft. Here is what the roster is looking like. Milroe is already up to an 81 overall, so a lot of improvement after his rookie season. Cooper Kupp, he is beginning to regress all the way down to star dev, so JSN definitely going to have a bigger role this year. With the offensive line, good improvement with Cross, Zabel, and Lucas. Even Bradford had some good improvement. We are going to have to take a center, I think, somewhere in the draft. But defensively, really happy. We had so much improvement from a lot of our young players. DeMarcus Lawrence, though, really regressing fast. We do need another right end eventually as well. But we got some good improvement, I would say, even from our linebacking core. So maybe one pass rusher and a center. And we really got a lot of our key starters we're going to need for a Super Bowl run in a couple of years. Now, looking at mock drafts, I'm really interested in this receiver, Ernest Leach from Florida. He's 6'2", 231 pounds, and a physical specimen. The only problem, though, is we are picking number 21, so I don't know how feasible it is that we can move all the way up into the top 5, but getting him to replace kind of Cooper Kupp down the road and give us a true X receiver on the outside could be really good for Milroe's development. The Colts, who are in dire need of just having a functional quarterback, really want to take Sam Darnold off our hands for Michael Pittman Jr. I might take him and try and flip him to the Titans as well with some draft capital. Well, the Titans did accept our trade, Pittman Jr., a 2nd, 1st, and 6th round pick to move inside the top 5. I think a relatively fair trade. We probably did win it, but I do think pretty still good value for the Titans. And now we pray that our guy is still on the board when we do pick. The Falcons are going to take Lucas Mahone. I guess he was the consensus best receiver in this draft. He looked really good. The Saints go quarterback. The Jaguars are going to go with a right tackle. And as long as the Browns don't take him here, we're fine. And they didn't. 3 wide receivers inside the top 5 feels absolutely unbelievable. And it looks like there's another receiver in Robert Carter who was supposed to be really good as well. So maybe I'm not even taking the best receiver in this draft, but I don't even care. We have him scouted as a top 5 talent. Not going to risk it. Ernest Leach out of Florida. Welcome to the team. And let's see how good this guy is. Number 3 in true value. So got him at a really good spot. 91 speed, 98 jumping, 93 acceleration. We just got like our DK Metcalf replacement here. But here in the 3rd round, one of our last picks in this draft, I do want to get a center. And there's actually a decent option here in Charles Marshall or Carl Samuel. And this is interesting because I do think Samuel is the better athlete. He definitely has better physicals. He's 6'4", 311 pounds with elite speed, elite agility, great acceleration, great strength, but he only has B run block and C pass block, so he does need some development in that area. But you look at Charles Marshall and his physicals are still good, but he's got decent strength. He's got great acceleration and good speed, but his skills, he's got A, pass block, and C, run block. So it's kind of a debate. Do you want to take the more developmental player with great physical tools or the more proven player? I think I'm going to lean Carl Samuel. I just like his tools a little bit more here. So we're going to draft him and see how good he is. And he is 76 in true value. He is, in fact, hidden dead with 91 strength. And we just found ourselves our new center of the future in the offensive line continues to improve. And the draft recap, Leach is an 80 overall right away, and Samuel's a 73, so definitely a day one starter. But the best player in this draft was Brandon Meekins, an 85 overall running back going to the Cincinnati Bengals. But we did actually get the best receiver in this draft, the first one selected, and Mahone was a 79 overall, so I really do like that. I do want to check center, though, and see if we did pick the right one. It's going to be very interesting to see here, and it does look like Marshall was a 74, Samuel a 73. So honestly, not terrible. We knew right away Marshall was going to be better due to his skills, but Samuel, I think when it's all said and done, will have the better career. And here's the roster heading into year number 2 of this rebuild with Jalen Milroe, who is an 80 overall in his second season. Really good development as a rookie. Now we get him a new generational receiver in Leach here. I'm excited to see how much more he progresses this year. The defense is exactly the same. I think we're going to have more draft picks next year to hopefully finally get maybe another player on the defensive line and maybe a linebacker. But I love our secondary. Love some of our trench players like Byron Murphy here. And I think, again, the expectation should be Seattle to make the postseason. And if we can win multiple games, I think that means Jalen Milroe improve drastically again. To the midseason point, we're not doing as good as we were last year. 2-4, and it looks like our offense is playing really bad, and so is our defense. 29th in the league in points per game is not going to do it for us. We've got $136 million in cap room, but a lot of players to bring back, and it starts with Kenneth Walker, who does want to come back. A lot of interest. Going to give him a neutral deal, and that should get the deal done. And I did forget to edit Emin Warri's contract, so he's coming to the negotiating table after 2 years instead of 4, which is kind of annoying. Gonna offer him a very player-friendly deal, and he is gonna accept it, but we should not have to shell out that much money right away. Tariq Woolen, another guy we wanted to bring back, one of the pillars on our defense. Gray Zabel, another guy coming to the negotiating table, gonna give him a player-friendly deal for 3 years. Abraham Lucas wants a contract for 2 more seasons. I think I might try and trade Noah Fant as we let Elijah Arroyo take over for him, who also is coming back for a contract. I did a very poor job editing these contracts for these rookies. But Arroyo, he's coming back on a 3-year deal, so now we can begin to shop Fant, I believe. And again, another really strong end of the season for the Seahawks. We're going to end 10-7, and our offense actually turned it around drastically. The #1 rushing offense and the #1 offense in terms of points per game in the league. All I did was change our offense to vertical zone run instead of the power run. I think it was a better fit with our offensive line, but it really helped us score a lot of points down the stretch. And the stats for the season, really ugly. Really ugly for Jalen Milroe. 3,400 yards, 20 touchdowns to 21 picks. That's bad. On the ground, he did have 600 yards and 10 touchdowns, but man, that was really ugly to see those passing stats. Gonna have to figure that one out. Receiving, Leach had a good season. JSN had a good season. Noah Fant had a good year. Defensively this year, Leonard Williams, Byron Murphy, DeMarcus Lawrence, all great seasons. And Julian Love, he had 8 picks this year. He had to have led the league and got a dev trade upgrade because that is ridiculous. But again, a quick look at the playoff bracket, and the Bengals and the Falcons are the #1 seeds in each conference, which is really surprising. I think the Falcons had like the #1 overall pick last year. But again, top right, it's the 49ers against the Lions, the 2-7 matchup. And again, we're the 3 seed hosting Jackson Dart and the Giants. And it looks like New York gonna strike first, 7-0, but Jalen Milroe on the offense does respond. But man, our defense is getting fried by Jackson Dart early in this game, but our offense again is keeping us alive in this 14-10. But again, the Giants right down the field. Let's hop in on offense here, get a look at Leach and Milroe, this elite connection here. Run a little fake RPO action, and under some pressure, Milroe is going to get sacked. We do make the field goal, and our defense finally gets a stop. I just want to check out this offense and see why our passing attack is just so bad. I don't really understand it, but here underneath, we've got Cooper Kupp, who is going to get out of bounds, I think, for 8 yards, and he didn't, so the clock is still ticking, but we have a 98 jumping receiver here. Beautiful throw from Jalen Milroe, and Leach, he comes down with it. That is why we drafted him, for plays like that. And Leach again on this little double move post. He didn't break open soon enough, but we have Milroe throwing it down the field to Fant, and Fant is going to hold on. Jalen Milroe, what a play outside of the pocket. We now have the ball in the second half. Again, with a little bit of confidence and some momentum, we're going to take a 2-point lead. But again, the Giants go right down the field, and that is not Jackson Dart. They must have drafted a new quarterback named Cooper. I don't even know who this guy is. But again, under some pressure here, our defense gets home. But we're in the red zone again, down by 1 point, have to settle for yet another field goal. And now the Giants are going to score a touchdown. I really want to see what Milroe and this offense can do on 2nd and 14, down by 5 points. Milroe under some pressure. Just run, Milroe. And he's going to take off, and look at him go, picking up a huge first down. He needs to do that a little bit more. I think that would prevent a lot of the turnovers that he had this year. Over 20 interceptions is not going to get it done. But a nice little play call here to Kenneth Walker, and he's going to pick up 9 yards. The 2-minute warning is hit. We're inside the 14-yard line, and Kenneth Walker bouncing off tacklers as he picks it up. I think the key next year is sticking with his vertical zone run, and hopefully that will have Milroe kind of develop more. But we're inside the 10 here. The Giants have not started using their timeouts. As long as we can find the end zone, we know what happened last year in the playoffs. That can't happen again. Milroe under some pressure. Another playoff script here to Kenneth Walker for 2 yards. But 3rd and 2, 36 seconds, and Milroe is going to take a sack. It just simply cannot happen inside the 5-yard line. And Milroe, last gasp, he's going to throw it to the end zone. It's swatted away. And in back-to-back years, 2 plays inside the goal line, we can't get it done. Another disappointing end to a season. The Buffalo Bills finally win the Super Bowl 24-21 against the Commanders. We did not take home any awards this year. Kind of disappointing. And here's a last look at players we need to bring back before free agency begins. Devon Witherspoon going to accept his 5th-year option. Same thing with Jackson Smith and Jigba. 2 really good players on our team. Noah Fant is up to superstar, but he is 28 years old, a 79. We already paid Arroyo. Going to let him walk, I think. But Kobe Bryant, Tyler Hall, I think I'm fine letting all these guys leave as well. And that pretty much is it. We can move to free agency now and try to bolster up some more holes on our team. I think I am going to offer a contract to Jalen Phillips, as DeMarcus Lawrence is age 34, a 78 overall. He's really regressing. We need his replacement. I think Phillips can definitely be that for us. I do also want to give a contract to Dayo Odeyingbo, as Jaron Reed also regressing a ton. We could just use a stopgap starter for a couple years, who still is in the prime of his career, 26 years old. And then Christian Fulton, I'm going to give him a 2-year deal, probably move him to the slot and have Woolen and Witherspoon as our boundary guys. And easy enough, we did get all 3 of our players really bolstering up our defense. Now we can head to the draft. I don't see much here with pick number 22 I like, so I'm going to trade back 6 spots with the Bengals and pick up a future 2nd-round pick. And then I'm going to move back 12 spots again and get another 3rd next year as well. And I did that because I do have a player I'm targeting, but he just was going to be a huge reach in the 1st round. And it's Najee Curry out of Washington, 6'6", 273 pounds. He's a physical specimen, and he can play defensive end for us in our 3-4 defense. He is big enough to do that. And his physicals are pretty good, but it's his skills I'm really excited for. B, all across the board with an A power move and A tackle. I think he's going to be a pretty good player right away. And he's number 34 in true value. He is hidden dev. So honestly, a really good job maneuvering the draft board and then getting still the player we really wanted here, who's really good. Gonna address the trenches again with Peter Duckworth from Florida State. He's got really good physicals. His skills look pretty solid as well, so I'm gonna take a flyer on him again. And he's 120 in true value. He's normal dev, so not great, but he does have 92 strength, so that is something to work with here. And then here in the 3rd round, Terrence Pickens, 6'2", 195 pounds from Virginia, ran a 4.3 40-yard dash and a 35-inch vertical. He's also got A man coverage and B zone. This guy might be a great pick here in the 3rd round. He is number 10 in true value. This guy's insane. 95 speed, 95 acceleration, hidden dev. We just got to steal the draft here in the 3rd round. Najee Curry is a 75. Duckworth is a 72. Pickens is a 79 overall. And the CPU also got us a couple good players in day number 3. And the team honestly is really good, especially for year number 3. We got a great running back in Kenneth Walker. A trio of receivers are still really good with Leach, JSN, and Cooper Kupp. The offensive line is more than serviceable. Every single starter will be over an 80 overall after this season. Arroyo, pretty solid tight end. We did sign Jonnu Smith as our backup. But I'm so excited about this defense now. The secondary is ridiculous with the addition of Pickens now as well. The defensive line, really good. Curry's going to bolster it up even more. And then our linebacking core with Jalen Phillips into the fold now and still Ernest Jones and Knight developing. Our defense is ridiculous. I would really say the success of this season and the future all hinges on Jalen Milroe. Can he develop even more? Can he become a superstar player for us? If he can, we can be a Super Bowl team in the next 2 years. And through the midseason point, the Seahawks are 5-2, our best start yet, and the #1 offense in the league, 30 points per game. Our defense is actually really struggling to stop the pass, which is interesting. But it does look like Jalen Milroe is off to a really good start this year, which you love to see it. We do have a lot of players, I think, to bring back. Charles Cross is one of them, the best offensive lineman on our team, and he has no interest currently in playing for us. But how about if we throw him an absolute bag? He's going to sign. Ernest Jones has developed into a really good linebacker for us. I want him back. I think Derek Hall has earned himself a deal as well. I don't think I want to pay Zach Charbonnet a contract. I think Anthony Bradford is interesting. Cooper Kupp is becoming extremely washed. I'm fine letting him walk. I think Leonard Williams on a 1-year deal is fine. We'll offer him that contract. But the money's drying up real quick. We have $16 million currently for next season. Charbonnet, I just can't bring him back. And Bradford is interesting, but we have so many draft picks next season. I think we can just draft a right guard somewhere and he'll be at least somewhat close to him. And how about the Seattle Seahawks ending the season 14-3, running away with the #1 seed in the NFC? And I guarantee you it has to do with the improvement of Jalen Milroe in the second year in this offense. Way more efficient, 3,900 yards, 25 touchdowns to 10 picks. We'll definitely take that, especially when you combine 11 touchdowns on the ground and 666 yards. I mean, I wouldn't say he's putting up MVP numbers, but I mean, 36 combined touchdowns and 4,500 yards is definitely top 10 quarterback category. Maybe he isn't Lamar Jackson, but he's really developed into our Jalen Hurts for us. And Kenneth Walker had another great season with 23 touchdowns. He's got to be one of the best running backs in the game now. Receiving, JSN in the slot had 1,200 yards and 8 touchdowns. Leach had improvement this year with 978 yards and 7 touchdowns. Arroyo stepped up as tight end 1. And defensively, Najee Curry, who we got in the second round, 12 sacks, and Byron Murphy had 10. That is going to be a fun tandem moving forward for us. Picks-wise, Tyrese Knight led us with 3. Julian Love continues to be such a big playmaker in the back end of our defense. And looking at the playoff bracket, I really do like our path to the Super Bowl this year. We have to take care of business in this divisional round. But again, every single game is going to be at Lumen Field. We better at least make the conference championship game. And we're going to be facing off against another bird team. The Falcons upset the Panthers 28-20. They are also only a 9-8 team, and we have overall advantages all across the board. So here we go against Michael Penix Jr. and the Atlanta Falcons. It's go time for Jalen Milroe in year number 3. And something that we haven't done a good job of in these playoffs is getting off to a fast start. And what do you know? The Falcons already have a 7-0 lead. But Jalen Milroe settling down. We are going to tie it up, and it's 14-7, just like that as we go into halftime. But it's 14-14. The Falcons, again, are going to take the lead. And now here, first and goal, look at all these weapons. Walker, Leach, Arroyo, JSN, and Cooper Kupp. You can't find much better than that in the NFL. But Milroe here, under some pressure, getting outside the pocket, and he's got a lane. And Jalen Milroe running into the end zone. And we retake the lead here, 21-17. We're getting inside the red zone. It's 28-17. Atlanta, they just won't go away. But 1 first down will just about do it. Our offensive line has been great run blocking all year. We have Kenneth Walker. Just don't fumble the football, and we'll be fine to get out of here with the win. And Kenneth Walker, 3rd and 1. Gonna run a quarterback power with Jalen Milroe, and he's gonna fight forward, and that's gonna be the ball game. A little close for comfort here, but Jalen Milroe, he does get his first ever playoff win, 28-23 against the Falcons. And we're moving on to the NFC Championship game. And even in Madden, the Packers, I guess, just own the Cowboys. 42-31, they take them down, and now we get another upset. A nice break for us in this conference championship game. And the Packers had a losing record this season, 8-9, but they find themselves in the NFC Championship game. And Green Bay is starting off with the football and go down and get 3 points, but that's not going to win against Jalen Milroe and this high-powered Seattle offense. Our defense does allow another touchdown. Pretty concerning. Our unit hasn't been great, I would say, the second half of the season, as they allow another touchdown to Green Bay. I want to see if we can get Leach involved on this slot fade. He might have one-on-one coverage here, and he does. I'm going to lob one up with his 98 jumping. Leach, go get it. Leach! It's incomplete. But going into halftime, we're down by 3 points. We're going to come out swinging and score again, but the Green Bay Packers and Jordan Love will not go away, as they are going to score yet again. And now it's getting a little bit scary, because we have a 3rd and 4 here. We are inside the red zone, but we're down by 6 with 8 minutes to go in this game. And Jalen Milroe going to lob it to the end zone. We have Kenneth Walker, and it's a beautiful route and a beautiful throw. We're going to retake the lead just like that. But can our defense get a stop? And it looks like they might have. Well, here's the situation. 3rd and 3, a minute 55 to go. 3 yards in this game is over. We can walk out of here, just ice the clock. We've got JSN in motion. It's going to be a flip pass to him, and he's going to pick up the first down Why did he go backwards? That is some Madden cheese, but we're going to be ultra aggressive here. We have Jalen Milroe for a reason. This is our version of like the tush push. Should be a free yard here. We got it. And that's going to do it. Well, don't even have to snap the ball here. And it is over. The Seattle Seahawks in year 3 of the Jalen Milroe experience are finding themselves back in the Super Bowl. And on the AFC side, another upset. The Buffalo Bills lose by 14 points to the Bengals. So we face off against a wild card team. But we know how high-powered Cincinnati's offense is with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, even that stud running back we saw them draft a couple years ago. We are actually starting off with the football. We can make a statement early in this game, but we are only going to settle for 3 points. It's 3-0, and the Bengals with Jamar Chase, T. Higgins moving right down the field. We are going to bring it back inside the red zone on 4th and inches. We're going to kick a field goal, I think, or maybe went for it. We didn't get it, though. But now we're inside the red zone again, going to make it 10-7 as the Bengals cannot score. And it's kind of a slugfest here in the second half. It's 17-7 now. We finally get some lead, but Joe Burrow really doesn't want to fumble this opportunity. But the Bengals have 5 turnovers in this game. I just saw that. And we're only winning by 3 points. That is unbelievable. They should be down by 40. But here we go, handing it off to Kenneth Walker, and he's got the edge. He's down to the 1. Not sure how this game is so close, if our defense has been playing that good. But regardless, we're at the 1 yard line here to make it a 2-possession game. And Milroe under some pressure. Milroe scrambling around. And Jalen Milroe running into the end zone was one of the best plays in Super Bowl history. And now our defense needs 1 stop and the game is over. And it looks like we just got it. And we're about to run away with this game. It's 27-14. Bengals using their timeouts. It's over. 35-14. The Seattle Seahawks and Jalen Milroe in the 3rd year of this rebuild just went all the way and got ourselves another Lombardi trophy. And here's the season recap. Mike Macdonald did win Coach of the Year, and Jalen Milroe was Super Bowl MVP. Now, as I do in every single one of my rebuilds, I do want to play out the following year after winning the Super Bowl and see if we can go back-to-back. Byron Murphy, I do want to accept his 5th-year option. That's a no-brainer for us. But Charbonnet, going to let him walk. I think Bradford as well. And even Jason Myers, he's becoming washed at 36 years old, but not really a ton of players were losing from our Super Bowl winning team. I feel like every rebuild I do, I think this is year 2028. The free agent class is always really, really good. We even got Ashton Jeanty here on the free agent market. I think outside of signing a kicker, we're not going to do a lot of moves. Jake Bates, 28 years old, still in the prime of his career. Welcome to the team. I let the CPU do the entire draft, and they didn't do a great job. Floyd Watkins was our 1st-round pick, a 72 overall left tackle. Don't really think we needed one. But I guess our team is so good, we're just kind of drafting BPA, and BJ Francis was our best player, a 74 overall backup running back. But here's the team in year number 4. Honestly, just ridiculous. And I told you guys Samuel here would have a better career than that other center. He's already an 87 overall superstar. But Jalen Milroe somehow did not get a dev trade upgrade after winning Super Bowl MVP. Makes no sense to me. But the offense is ridiculous. The defense is maybe even better. I mean, every single starter on our defense is an 81 overall or better. That's insane. And through the midseason point, we're insane. 7-0 and 89 overall all across the board. The number 1 offense, the number 11 defense in the league. We do have a lot of players to bring back and sign, including Jalen Milroe. We have $89 million in cap room. I don't know why, but he has no interest in playing for us. But how about a 7-year deal? Very player friendly. He's going to sign. And now it's going to get interesting because we can bring back JSN on a 4-year deal. But outside of him, Devon Witherspoon, he wants a big contract. We don't have enough money currently. We would be negative $11 million, but we can obviously maneuver things. But Tyrese Knight is probably going to have to walk. Julian Love is probably going to have to walk. Abraham Lucas, maybe another guy that has to walk. When you pay a quarterback a premium, this is what happens. But I do think we can get back Witherspoon. We're going to have to retool a little bit after this season. We end the season again, 14-3, the number 1 offense in the league. Jalen Milroe, a generational season, 4,500 yards passing, 34 touchdowns to 10 picks. On the ground, he also added in another 10 touchdowns and 661 yards. He had to have been in the MVP race with those numbers. Receiving wise, Arroyo led us this year with 1,300 yards and 10 touchdowns. That's really surprising. But defensively, Byron Murphy, one of the best defensive tackles in the league. Najee Curry, another great season. We had 5 picks from Julian Love, who probably just played the last year in a Seahawks uniform. But here is a look at the playoff bracket. The Commanders were the number 2 seed. I think we have a good chance again to just steamroll everybody on the way to the Super Bowl. Our first matchup is against the 9-8 Lions, who are scary because of all the weapons they have on offense. But I'm just going to sim this one, move on to the NFC Championship game. Do we win this game? And we do, 28-10, not even a contest. But now the Falcons, they want some revenge. They're 10-7 on the year. Do we defeat the Falcons again this year? And it doesn't show us. And we lost 34-24. Milroe didn't even have a passing touchdown. Did have one on the ground and 84 yards. Michael Penix Jr. had himself a day. We lost in the fourth quarter. But Patrick Mahomes did steal an MVP away from Milroe this year. McDonald did win Coach of the Year again, but outside of that, no season awards. We do have $28 million in cap room. Ernest Leach, I'm going to accept his 5th-year option. That does give us enough money to bring back Witherspoon on a 3-year contract. And if you will accept it, a 5-year deal for Knight, but I don't think this is going to be enough money. But he will sign it, so we got our linebacker back. But Julian Love, he will be hitting free agency. Abraham Lucas will as well. I mean, both these guys are entering their age 30 season, so I feel a little bit fine with that. But now I just change every single setting to auto. I want the CPU to play out the next 10 years and see how Jalen Milroe's career does fare. This is the last look at the roster before I do that, so I want you guys to get a good picture of how loaded this team was. And now I'm going to sit back and watch the simming over the next 10 seasons. And we're going to see if Jalen Milroe puts together a Hall of Fame type of career. In the 2028 season, just finally got simmed. I'm going to be here for like 15, 20 minutes waiting for this, but it's going to be worth the wait. See what Milroe can do. And finally, we have made it. And I'm not loving how it's looking. I guess we just had the 1st overall pick, Nathan Mitchell. We're an 84 overall team. I'm very scared to check this roster and see who's remaining for us. And we do not have Jalen Milroe. Samuel is actually the only player I recognize on this team. The guy we drafted over 10 years ago. He's 33 years old, entering his 12th year, and he's one of the best offensive linemen in the league. On the defensive side of the ball, it's nobody. I don't see any single one of the players we had on our team here. We got a really nice safety duo still, but definitely a lot of changes on our team. Our defense is still pretty good, but it looks like in 2028, we were really good again. Mike McDonald won Coach of the Year, but we didn't make the Super Bowl. 2029, we didn't win anything. 2030, same thing again. 2031, we had no award winners. 2032, still the same thing. 2033, it looks like we fell off pretty hard after we stopped controlling them. And the Vikings, I guess, are in the midst of a dynasty, back-to-back Super Bowl champions. And Jalen Milroe now finds himself on the Baltimore Ravens. It looks like he was with us until 2035, but then went to the Dallas Cowboys last year and had a ridiculous season, 46 touchdowns to 8 picks, but now finds himself in Baltimore. It looks like he had a couple of really good seasons after winning the Super Bowl, 35-6, and has really just been a really good quarterback the last decade or so, but can never get over the hump in Seattle with us after that one Super Bowl. He's got to be one of the best running quarterbacks in NFL history, but man, I'm surprised we weren't able to win at least one more Super Bowl. He is our career leader in passing yards, passing touchdowns, and I would assume for all the rushing stats as well. Byron Murphy and Arroyo also record holders for the Seattle Seahawks, and of course, Kenneth Walker. But that's going to do it for me in today's video. I really like how this ended with Milroe taking over for Lamar Jackson in Baltimore, kind of bringing this whole thing full circle. But I hope you guys did enjoy this rebuild of the Seattle Seahawks with Jalen Milroe at the helm. Let me know in the comment section below what you thought about it and what rebuild you want to see next. There's so many possible ones I could do now with all the new rookies entering the NFL. So let me know in the comment section below which one you want to see. But subscribe to the channel if you are new. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Drop a like on the video for more rebuilds, and I'll catch you guys in my next one.